Guys, today we're going to talk about how to interpret a box plot. So there are three key things a box plot can tell us. First is it tells us the five key statistics related to a data set or data distribution. These are median, the interquartile range, max, min, and also quartile 3 and quartile 1. It also helps you identify the outliers in your data set. Now, if you have any doubts with regard to what each of these means and how Boxplot helps you identify outliers, please refer to my other video on what is a Boxplot. Here we're going to focus on the second and the third point that I'm going to just talk about. One is how it helps us understand the distribution of the data. So basically it helps you understand how closely packed or wide the data is, and then it helps you compare box plots for the same distribution across many different categories. Now to demonstrate this, I'm going to use ToothCrow dataset, which comes already pre-built in R. So let's just quickly call that dataset. Let's view that data. So this has three different variables, and it has 60 observations. One is the length. The second one is the supplement, type of supplement. It has two values, VC and OJ, and the dosage. If you want to know more about this data set, I recommend going to the documentation for this data set in R, and you will see all the details. So now let's make a box plot for length in ToothCrow data frame. And we see that the median is right in the center of the box. So what this tells us that the data is evenly distributed and normally distributed. Now I'm just going to create a quick histogram for you. And you can see that the peak of the data is in the center. Now, a quality of a normal distributed data is mean and the median are the same. In this case, let's look at the mean and the median. There is a slight difference between the median and the mean of about 0.4, but roughly they are the same, and hence we can see that this distribution is normal. Now let's look at another data set, air quality. I'm going to quickly view this data set. It has about 6 different variables that we look at. Now let's plot one of them onto a box plot. Now in this case, you can see that the median is towards the bottom of the box in the center. And so what this indicates is that for the first 50% of the values are more closely held together. If I draw the histogram of this data set, you'll be able to see that most of the values are concentrated towards the early part of the distribution. And so we will say that this data is positively skewed or right skewed. Now let's look at the mean and the median. So the mean of this data is higher than the median, and that means there are a lot of outliers towards the extreme values or the upper extreme values for this particular data set. Now there's a third possibility which we are going to explore now by making a box plot for the solar.r variable in the air quality data set, and here we say that the median is closer to the upper edge of the box, and this reflects that the data set is negatively skewed. So if I draw it, you will see that the bulk of the values are towards the extreme end of the histogram. And if I look at the mean, it's 185 and the median is 205, and so therefore median is greater than the mean. And so this is another type of possibility that's possible in a data set. So a box plot helps you understand the skewness of the data and helps you see the distribution of the data. Now let's look at another feature of a box plot, that is notch. A notch is basically adding 95% confidence intervals around a median. Now when you compare three different box plots, it helps you understand how for the same distribution the median can differ based on the category. Now in this particular plot, we can see that the number of cylinders has a direct relationship with miles per gallon. So higher the number of cylinders, the lower the number of the higher the miles per gallon. But if we were to add notches to this like we have, presence of notches basically means that if there are no overlaps in a notch, that means that there is a strong evidence that the median of the two box plots differ. That's what notches tell us. Now that's all I have to share with you today. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments. For other such videos, please subscribe to my channels.